Hey, what's up, Perry? How you doing, my bro? You know, I was thinking about shooting you a link to this stream right now, but I thought, it might be a little bit too late for Perry. Perry, no, he's got a busy man. He's got busy hours. He's got man hours. So typically, if I go like, sometimes I'll be in here like 2 hours from now. And I'll be like, yeah, it's definitely too late to let Perry know. But hey, dude, how you doing? Hope you're doing all right. Relaxing here. All right day at work. Pretty easy day at work. It's been lax these couple of days in terms of there being work, but it's coming in. And I don't really like to talk about what I do, but it's the type of work that fucking fly in here. Yeah, it dries up sometimes. Luckily, you know, we don't get laid off. But, you know, when the work comes in, it comes in. Sorry if I hijack the stream with music, bro. Sometimes. What? My brother? That's literally what I'm here for. Like, for me, the idea of a stream like this is one where you or the guest, whoever's listening, or the friend, could make the show theirs, or even drive it. Like we remember Melon Man. This was basically his stream, like the first 2 years. This is history. He gave me all the links and stuff. Midas too. It's his stream. And God bless Melon Man. He's off doing real world shit. He decided to leave the internet. We respect that. But that's why you've not heard from him, and I've not heard from him. But yeah, bro, I don't care. I mean, I do care in that it's like what I want. I would love for everybody to come here and hijack the stream, because it is your stream. I know not every streamer thinks that way, but this is your stream, the viewer's stream. Okay, otherwise, it's just me playing the same old games I do and trying to beat the YouTube algorithm with stuff that I want to play. Yeah, man. No bother here. In fact, I'm very appreciative. I'm always down to know, you know. Listen to other stuff. I do listen to a variety of stuff, but there's stuff I haven't gone around to. And there's stuff that I shunned growing up that I'm now just like dipping into. Like the hardcore music you sent me. Like Job for a Cowboy. When I was a metal fan, Job for a Cowboy was like scene kid stuff. It's like poser stuff. Even though like musically it wasn't that far away from like Cannibal Corpse or Deicide or Morbid Angel. I mean, song-wise it was different, style-wise different. But I'm always up for suggestions. Everybody, I don't think very little people send in stuff that I've already listened to, strangely enough. And I love that. Love that as well. Love finding out new music and styles from the stream. I do have some Zoomer people, you know, Midas and some other people. I think Midas is a Zoomer. I've always guessed, but in terms of the music he gives me, like some of the hyper pop stuff or hyper pop derivative, I like being caught up with it. And I know I'm not going out there and listening to 100 gecs or Echo 20K. Personally, it's not my jive. But yeah, I'll give a listen to anything you'll hear. Anything anybody sends in, I'll listen to it. Word, we working on airport hangar doing HVAC. Oh shit. Cool ass job. Maybe I will send you pics sometimes. Yeah, Mellow Man was insane with the links. Makes for a fun time. Exactly. Damn, doing HVAC for an airport hangar. That's pretty dope, man. Alright. Alright. My stream is a place to feel at home at. Unless you're in the crosshairs of me ranting about something. But even then, it doesn't have to be personal. But yeah. Same thing with hoping I don't get laid off. Yeah, it's all, you know, dips and valleys. It does seem like, for me, a summer has always been the dead months. Man. Fingers crossed. I'll grab that link though. You're listening to Helmet. I got the quality. Sometimes I'll lower down the quality to 144. See if it'll make the video more kino. I've been watching what's it called? Like 90s CGI, the Into the Mind series. This is very artsy, weird, early CGI is fucking kino as hell. Hey, what's up, Kimo? How you doing, brother? Rating some of that 90s CGI for music videos as well. Clutch. I've heard Clutch, the name Clutch. Just like in relation to bands like the Melvins, and apparently they're more kind of like a sludge metal thing going on there. Just like a heavy thing. But I never checked them out. Their main guitarist though, the singer guy, he seems very weird and funny. I think I've seen an interview or two with him. It just seems like metal guys are so weird like that. They'll come off like kind of wacky in a way. It's not really scary. Like the fucking singer from Cannibal Corpse being into World of Warcraft and fucking crane machines and shit. He's all wholesome. Ever listen to Cursive? No, I think I've heard mention of them. They're kind of like that Midwestern emo from the West of Mid. I'll check them out as well. Yeah, man, send in the links. I don't mind at all. Oh shit. Let me get the screen going. Oh wait, no. My bad. Oh, I already loaded that shit. I'm retarded. Jesus. Yeah, sorry. Just smoked the first hit of the day a few seconds ago. And typically I'll like chill for a bit after the first hit and then go live. A little bit new today. Let's try it out. Cursive are more artsy, but not gay. Alright. Sounds cool. Let me turn this up a little. Well, we got a sample at the front of the song. Are we in the 90s? Oh, we got Swedish names. Oh no, 2009. Okay. I stand corrected. Yeah, I hope you're doing well, Kima. Welcome. Saw you on the Sneakcast. Not on the Sneakcast, but in the chat yesterday. And I was in there for a little bit at the front of the show, but I had to leave. There's too many people in there. And I've already done my fair share of Sneakcasts of the first 10. So it's good to let the new guests have at it. But man, it's like I'm not the biggest, the most sociable person, you know, so I'm not so keen on new people. I'm kind of actually rather defensive around new people. But it was alright, you know. I think Midas feels the same way. What was the last Sneakcast? I caught him telling MCing with Romano, one of the newer guys, Lego's friend. Like, Midas was asking him if he could choke him, please. Romano was like, "What? No." Apparently, Midas, Romano was like cutting off Midas a lot. So that was pissing him off. Yeah, I felt like him. The first time Romano came in, I felt like he talked a lot. Too. I was like, oh fuck, this guy came in and he just didn't shut the fuck up. But yeah, it's just, that's the kind of entity the Sneakcast is, you know. And it's not mine. It's Lego's. And Scrode produces it. Yes. Sorry. But yeah. Oh shit. Chemo shit. Nice. It is what it is, yeah. It's not even that I like dislike these people, the newer people, a lot. Enough to like leave the Sneakcast for that one. It was just too many people already. If it's past 6, that's too many people. And like I said, have new people at it. Might be on a later one. I'll try to be on at the same time as Midas. I mean, Midas, he does well by himself too, but... Or I don't know, man. If it's gonna be 6 people every time, I feel it hard enough to throw in ideas as it is. And I'm just one person here. But I'll keep doing it too, so I'll keep doing that Sneakcast. Cause fucking why not? I will try to see though if I could get like Lego to call in with me and Midas. Stuff like that, you know, smaller kind of call in, it's more directed. Not Sneakcast oriented. Got the new phonograph running today. Fine tuning to do, but it's running quite well. Oh shit, bass. Let's go, my brother. Keeping that old music alive. And it was so weird. We can't, for some reason, we can't play Perry's videos. Or did we? Oh, I think we might have played one on D Live. But one time we played a video and it took the stream down. It's like, okay, man. These songs from 1920 still have people copyright striking to this day. Insane Clown Posse forever. Did you ever get like classical music? Or did they classical music on Cylinder?
This life is tricky, mean and strange. You can only be sure about one thing.
Well, I'm guessing the constraints would be who knows if Cylinder could handle the audio information.
And just because shit's new, it ain't better. I wanna be with Shaggy and Billy, my dogs for life. And I pray that I'll never change every night. I said never again, and then I did it, and did it again. I can't pretend, I won't lie. Yo, I've lost control, and it's a scary endeavor. I got it together, but it took forever. Now I want forever to be just like this. The shit I wish.
Look at this giant.
Frozen Soul. Death and Glory.
Truth is, happiness is in your own head. How you perceive shit, believe it is. It's all you. Some of us sad fools can't help it. Living in a bad mood. Shit hurts. Then it only gets worse. They don't get it. Not even the experts. But trust me, it won't last forever. You hit bottom, shit finally gets better. Some don't need
that's right.
to laugh and live on the bright
We're
side
so
whenever
back
the
to
path. When you hit 40 or 50, that's just half. Enjoy youth, cause until you don't get back, forever revolves around you. That's your time. I'm living in mine too. How much positivity are you blind to? You only live once, I'll remind you.
Pretty chill track here from the
None of
Posse.
that good shit lasts forever, but you just might like the new changes better. It's funny how we adapt and keep it together as the months roll by, seasons and weather.
But when it all shuts
Can we
off,
get a
and that'll be the
Rick
day you
Beato
forever
and
will
Insane
stop
Clown
the
Posse
love and
interview?
Experience these emotions with peaks sky high, lows deep as oceans.
I wanna see you and me last forever. Loop this life up and end it never. And live through the ages, the lows, the stages, and never let them close the
To
pages.
find peace of mind is impossible. Forever is plagued with obstacles. So we make the best of good times. We still can't play, we can't rewind.
We just wanna see us all together.
After forever, all things change.
We just wanna see us all together.
Yes, actually. Oh, nice. You got a few concert Edison cylinders with the last phono. Dip classical type music along with the Edison purple Embryola cylinders. 19 teens era. Whoa. I'll try to post them soon. Oh yeah, bro. Always appreciate this long coming keynote.
We just wanna see us all together.
How'd you get into collecting that, if you don't mind me asking? Is it recent or long standing?
All together. We just wanna see us all together.
Shangri-La. Oh, nice. It all started with Tiny Tim covering old songs from the 1900s. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. That famous song of his is from that era. A lot of his music, a lot of his popular songs, most of his catalog is music from Cylinder and 78 RPM era. Oh shit. Then it just spiraled from there. Oh shit. Hell yeah. And you have I think you do have Tiny Tim on your channel, if I'm not mistaken. Tiny Tim is Kino. But damn, that's crazy. Oh shit. Just from one simple influence to preserving American history. It's the power of music. Oh yes. Ooh. Listen to the original songs, then other Cylinder era music, then eventually found some at the antique and record store, got them cheap, then decided I needed to play them. Now I have 7 Cylinder phonos. Damn, and 3 disc phonos. That's fucking amazing, man. Sick. Hours and hours of... Whoa, my dogs. Don't pay attention to them. Oh, he's gonna fall to bed. No. Sorry. As I was saying. But yeah, let's go to channel. I'll just show. I won't play it, but I will. Well, I could play you talking, right? Oh wait, no, this one goes straight into it. This one's new, right?
Everybody have a good old time. Sung by Arthur Collins, Edison Records. Since I become so wealthy, all my friends declare they never thought to spend a spend that anywhere. I have pajamas for my horse to sleep with ease. No common hay for him each day but ham and cheese. I 50 cans of corn to get my every meal. The carpets and my rugs are of the finest steel. Just welcome on the mat to everyone that's nigh. Just holding as you pass them by. That means even George Johnson, my most bitter enemy. Everybody have a good old time. If they haven't, now it's my expense. Come on. Everybody get right up in line to see your happy looks in me. Holding for the mama, brother, and the sister too. I'm spending so much money, why they're happy too. Your compliments are paid to them, are paid to you. Everybody have a good old time.
Oh shoot.
You must talk of Rockefeller or your Vanderbilt. The money takes the higher half the world won't feel. At night, the
Rockefeller, Vanderbilt.
I have a dread in case it is to tumble while I lie in bed. I have a blanket made of $50 notes. I even use $10 bills to line the coat. I light my pipe with 20s when the fires are shy. I'll be in till the day I die. Yes, I'm almost suffocated with 'em. Everybody have a good old time. If they haven't, now it's my expense. Everybody get right up in line to see your happy looks in men. Never father, mother, brother, and a sister too. I'm spending so much money, why they're happy too. The compliments are paid to them, I paid to you. Everybody have a good old time.
They say Jew? Straight fire. That's vulgar. That's vulgar, dogs. Here's a link to that sweet Arthur Collins song. You can see Hugh with your dead shirt and the tag here. That's fucking sick. Ada Jones. Oh, you coon. The sweetest chocolate water I ever did see. What?
Oh, you cool, by Ada Jones and Billy Murray, Edison Records. Look into my eyes, let me see your eyes. Oh, you cool. You got such bright eyes.
So true,
starry
Kimo.
eyed eyes. Oh, you cool. You certainly broke the heart of Mandy mighty soon. Yes, let me be your doodle dandy. Oh,
Dildo Dandy?
Oh, you cool. Will you let me be your candy coon?
Would you let me be your dandy coon?
Chocolate drop I ever did see. You certainly are the caramel child with me. Oh, you cool. You fun thing. You warm and soon. Make your eyes say do, 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 do. Oh, you cool.
Hey, what's up, MF Doomer? Welcome, my brother.
Look in my dream.
Hope you're doing alright. We're here listening to Perry's Phonographs.
Give me a hug, babe. You got my bug, babe. Oh, you cool.
Oh, you coon.
Certainly are the students standing when you spoon. Just let me be your stick of candy. Oh, you cool. Oh, you cool. Will you let me be your candy coon? You're
Candy
just the
coon?
sweetest little chocolate drop I ever did see. You certainly are the caramel child with me. Oh, you cool. You fun, babe. You're warm and true. Make your eyes say do, 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 do. Oh, you
So true. That was amazing. Now, gonna go take a piss real quick, get some water for my dried mouth. I'll keep playing Frozen Soul. That's a pretty badass band name. Frozen Soul. Morbid Effigy. Featuring John Gallagher of Dying Fetus. Okay, nice. Yeah, I got to get acquainted with my hardcore. Kind of just left off at death metal, thrash metal. A little bit of black metal, but the earlier stuff, not the Varg stuff. Alright, we're on YouTube, so I could use the chat box. Alright, give me a second here. Oh, you cool. Oh, I just remembered who this reminds me of vocal-wise. Like Nile? You know Nile? The death metal band themed after Egyptian stuff. That band was they had some good songs. I remember dipping into them a little bit back in the day. I don't know if they still hold up, but seeing interviews with that guy, Carl Sanders, I think his name is. He's a pretty cool dude. You know, he's just way into Egyptology. I think he was an Egyptologist. And into a guitar tone, like getting the best sound live. So I could appreciate what he's throwing down. Ass Emulator. What's her name? Dying Chungus? No. What's it called? Memungus? From the Eggy stream. What's her name? Damn it. Damn it, forgetting her fucking name. Not Humongous. Is it Humongous? No. Humongous is a different guy. She wrote that song. She was like a ugly ass, deformed lesbian, Native American, singing about how much of a gangster, badass bitch she is. And when she licks the clit, it's lit. When she hit that clit, that shit lit. Damn, I'm trying to remember the fucking name. We got an Eggy freestyle, okay. I think they could have maybe, in the mix, they could have had a bit of a better snare sound. I mean, it's nice, it's punchy, a punchy snare sound. I think something a little bit more crazy, more raw would have been nice. A little bit of ping, maybe? A little bit of that drum ringing out. Typically, you'll put padding or stuff on the drum just so it won't ring out too much. But having a bit of that in there is cool. Or having it all in there. Like in my recordings, it's all in there. And a popular example of that is Pearl Jam. Is it Pearl Jam? Oh wait, no, it's Stone Temple Pilots. I just want to show this off real quick. Just pay attention to the snare drum. It's when I sneeze and snort, sneeze, snort. And I sneeze, snort, sneeze. Here we go. Also the front of it, the entire sound is more raw. But definitely the front of it is like... Yeah, that drum is ringing out. I'll play some new Poma jams after this sick link. Perry. Thank you, my brother. But I just wanted to show that. Would that have sounded good in this mix? Maybe. Not. Like, who knows? It's very weird mixing with the high gain guitars and trying to get them to be the most prominent thing in the mix. So who knows what problems they ran into? Or maybe they had different ideas production-wise. I feel like it would have sounded cool with that kind of sound.
The one and only Fed Smoker in the chat.
That's Perry right there, right away.
The one and only Fed Smoker in the chat. He said, I need you to go crazy on Futurama instrumental. Looks like from Necro. He does have some pretty wild beats on. Like I've ever even heard this one, but I'm about to see.
Fucking love STP and Alice in Chains. I've been coming around to them these past few years.
Black Pill beats.
Good ass songs, good sounds.
I would say the opposite, really. I'm quite the fan of it's like, you know, when you're out there.
I used to think several.
Even when you're miserable, you just feel good. You feel warm. I'm in the loving embrace.
Stone Temple Pilots was Queens of the Stone Age.
It make me feel amazing.
I used to think every song I thought was Pearl Jam.
Shout out to my man Apollo Bra. Shout out to Kill Slug 2. Shout out to G.
No, every song.
And my man Psych 2.
No, yeah. Hold on. Every STP song I thought was either Pearl Jam or Creed. It turns out, like, I only know one Creed song.
Woo! Yeah. Sipping on banana and strawberry. When I was a kid, there was never a tooth fairy. Yeah. So the bones that get buried, I don't know what happened to, but I think it gets scary.
To the alternative rock.
I'm talking spooky skeletons. Yeah, I'm not one of those, you know.
I mean, it's still played on the radio. But just give it more of a listen when it would come on. It's like, okay, I remember these tracks. And I was old enough to just take them as they are. Great sound.
Talking concrete gravestone, it's gonna meet my sledge. When I go ahead, I feel like I'm getting pushed to the edge. I'm already filled with this existential dread up in my head. You can see how it looks. And my hair used to be down here, but then I stopped reading the books. I just started soaking up the blurbs, the tweets, and the messages. Now my skull, it's growing relentlessly, just like the Boganoffs. And how I'm popping off, I think I might be controlling and
Collective Soul, didn't they do that song? Fuck. Yeah, there's a lot of cheesy, just like, yeah, rock. Just rocking that time. Like metal rock, I don't know.
He's committing a lot of arson. He's burning down all the food processing factories. In fact, all these things that are happening.
There were still other heavier and like darker stuff that was popular at the time, but it was just that subsection of
I just wake up and I'm freaked and geeked for
like
sure,
heavy
and I'm
music
waiting
that
until
wasn't
the
like
end of the week to
extreme. It was
go.
more
Is
like,
it the end of time? This time the
oh,
apocalypse is on my
like
mind. I
so-
think it's about to be coming like the end of a rhyme. When you peel it, that's just how I'm feeling. I hop in my car and start peeling, and I'm freewheeling. Jesus, please
Fuck,
take
well,
the wheel.
Collective
Hopefully
Soul.
you'll let me meet you soon for real, because this world we're living in, I think it's demonically possessed. Fuck
Screwed.
this shit, I don't know if I even want to see the rest. Even if I'm in Chiang Mai with Joe Best, I'm still laying up, sweating, and I'm real stressed. Or maybe I got some kind of fever, some kind of malaria. I don't know, but I'm feeling a little bit more scarier. I'm trying to be confident and just be myself. I'm taking so many showers and haircuts. I feel like Boomhauer. I'm trying to mumble whatever just to get these bitches' pussies wetter. But it's not working at all, and all my letters are getting messed up with the alphabets and turning into soup. It's all canned up, and I'm jammed up, goddamn stuff. It make me feel so tough, but I'm not talking about buff. I'm talking about I'm fucked up like gunk that's inside of my engine, cause I'm not getting it tested. I'm not going to the mechanics as when they telling me, yo, make sure you're getting in this confession. Real quick, confess to me if you have been letting your auto rot in your yard. And I'm like, damn, I feel like Otto. I just been sitting in my yard, getting hard and smoking that gelato and sipping on that blotto, you know? What is my motto? I guess it's just wait until the end of the world comes and everything you do in between, man. Who cares if the shit's dumb? Because I'd rather sit around and goon and edge and come. But now I'm going to hell, fuck, well, I don't want none of that. So let me go ahead and run it
Goon
back.
and edge and
Let me
come.
make sure that I'm really on track, just like a train before it gets derailed, cause I don't want to get
Yeah, I was never big on
railed.
Nirvana
Get by the
either.
side when there's a homicide against my
Like, at
name
the
because
time,
they
they were
think
also,
I'm
like,
not
you would
fine.
see
They
their
think that I'm that
shirts
guy that won, that fucked the whole
at
world
school,
up. I
people who-
changed the tide and now nobody can have sex anymore.
Well, people
Because
I
I made some
didn't
YouTube
really
videos
like
with
at
my
school
cars
wearing their
that
shirts.
passed way before, so I'm like, shit.
Judgmental, yes,
I
but
don't even want to
also
know more.
they're just
Till my brain switch off, I
not
just
that
go drug mode.
not that good.
I
Not
guess
how
that's what these
people
fucking
like
drugs
fawn
for.
over
Yeah,
Kurt
I guess that's
Cobain.
what this
He
drug
wasn't
drugs
that
for.
good.
Ooh, and I pulled it too fast, so now I spilled on
Compared
my
to Lane
keyboard.
Staley,
But it's okay
compared
because
to
I'm
Alice in
gonna keep
Chains.
moving forward and keep going toward whatever I can. I'm about to pull the sword into both of my left and my right hand like I'm a ninja.
But they were
I'm
the
not a
most,
Fortnite player 'cause I really think, yo, that Fortnite's
I guess you could say
scared, so I
punk.
don't really wanna be there.
They're trying to be punk.
But they call me Mr. Thayer, other known as
Yo,
the
what's up,
Taylor.
Nell?
The
How you
way I
doing?
beat the shit together, yeah, they're like,
Welcome,
"Man,
my brother."
He really is a true player. Maybe in his
Hope
own
you're doing
way,
all
he's
right.
the #1 gamer, the victory royale haver. But I'm just out there in France and I'm a royale with cheese devourer. I still gotta just power
Wait,
up.
that wasn't the Futurama theme song.
What's up, Red Marble?
Marble. Is that Lego? What?
What's up, Red Marble?
Oh, Red Marvel. Prom awesome. What? What does that mean? With a lip. Either way, okay. Necro. Jewish gangsters. Tub Chew. Rabbi holding guns. Holy fuck. I only slightly know Necro, just because I've seen him. His beats played on Eggy at times. But that's funny. Jewish gangsters, gangsters. Yeah, Perry wanted me to play some recent Pomad music. I'll play the most recent one, which I haven't done on stream yet. But this one's using an electronic beat and keyboard sounds. It's different than the kind of more rock, guitar, live drum stuff I've been doing for the past 3 tracks. And Osaka, that's also a live track. Mayor Simpleton live track, basically. These remasters, they go back and forth. There's some rock, some not. But this next track is not a rock track. Hey, what's up, Nugget? How you doing, my brother? Welcome. I think it's a Purdy shuffle. It sounds like a John Bonham, what's it called? Or a Steely Dan kind of beat, Asia. Then some Jerry Garcia kind of guitar over it. This whole track was made by throwing shit at the wall and just kind of like refined it and arranged it and composed it. Yeah, that guitar solo is Frankenstein a fair amount. But I didn't mind so much just because I didn't have an idea what I even really wanted to do. Just all the elements I thought were cool. I kind of, once I put them together, I kind of got what was appearing out of the randomness and just refined it. Oh, Nugget's in class right now. Break now though, just saying hey. Hope you're doing alright, man. Nugget hard at work. Bro, AIC is my shit. Lane is definitely talented. Hell yeah, man. Great songs, great sounds, powerful songs. Oh my god, definitely the top of that era, cream of the crop. That show got crazy popular with the Zoomers, or at least the TikTok, YouTube short crowd. A lot of people playing it on their acoustic guitars, which is great. But I did see that a lot. Thank you, Perry. This track is pretty much throwing shit against the wall too, except for actually kind of a thought up of something for the bass line. Eventually. But the beat was unrelated. And the guitars, I kind of wanted the guitars to mimic a finch or a bird call. And this whole song is one take, at least for the guitar part. I've had that idea for a while, and I have been using bird calls in my rhythms for a little bit now, but it was fun just to do that, you know, as a concept for a song, for a piece. And this is an old Mock Fountain song. I wrote this in like 2015 with a different drum beat and no guitar solo. Old version had vocals too. But I just felt like doing the song again. Yeah, the solo part of this song was kind of racking my brain. I was like, fuck it. I just... This solo here is made out of 2 parts. And I was still not satisfied with that. I could have waited on it, I guess, but... If anything, I should have written some different parts in there, but whatever. I could always morph the song if I played live somewhere or something. It's kind of weird to do a solo against kind of a drum loop. At times it can be easy, but right there could have used a more involved kind of drummer that I could go back and forth with, or maybe a accompanying guitar or a keyboard. Because sometimes the drop in like dynamic to where it's just the bass can be cool, but it does put more pressure on the guitars to bring the melody. Okay, this is the last new music. Also a Mock Fountain song. The solo on this, on the other hand, I'm very happy with. But yeah, out of out of this year's recorded solos, I would say, yeah, Sad Space Mango I'm very happy with. That was 2 cuts, I think. 2 takes put together. And even though Moon Hazard was more cut up, very cut up, this one's a good contender for number 2, I would say. Finch's has alright parts to it too, but it's so fucking freewheeling. It's a weird abstract idea for a song, especially with no head. Like neither Moon Hazard nor Finch have like discernible guitar like hooks. Besides stuff I repeat. Which I think makes it kind of cool. Like everything else is the hook in the song. Like in Finch, the hook is the bass line. And the drum beat. And then Moon Hazard, you know, it's the keyboards. And the bass line. Because the bass line's very big. It's like bass line kind of following the hi-hat of the drum beat here. And then the guitar comes in, you know, all Jerry Garcia style. I mean, if I practiced that song, I could, you know, have repeated instances of me doing like something that's like that. If I needed to repeat it for performance. But I just threw that together. And I changed what I thought needed to be changed. I cared more about what the song was that was coming out than keeping everything in, because it would be cool to keep everything in all the time, but as a composition that would be kind of boring and annoying. Part of the reason I have like almost an entire drop off of all the instruments in the middle. Sounds very cool. There's a little variety, little fade-ins here and there. Thanks, man. The huge, you know, the end of the last of the remasters here. Oh yeah, this one has a newish solo. Well, it's a new solo. The old version of Autism back here. That's one of the first things I ever recorded during the pandemic. I think the solo is okay. Kind of fits the mood of the song. Could have been better, well, probably. I just skipped to it. I want to re-listen to it again. The hard part about this song, oh shit, I could have remastered that a bit louder. No, that's fine. The thing about this song, what did I say? Shit. Oh yeah, trying to get my recording to fit into the song. Because this was all down mixed like a long time ago, 2015. So to get a new recording to fit into this old recording that has reverb and delay in it, and this and that, that was kind of a challenge. And I didn't want the guitar to be like an obvious overdub or an obvious addition. So that was a little tricky. That's why it's a little bit like buried in there. But yeah, that's a track I did not have the original tracks to. Sadly. This new version of Huge Balls too. This track is so loud. It does not help the track to be that loud. There's no bass. This was just something I had from 2014 or 15. I just needed to use it for something. Yeah, there's the vapor punk stuff, which is that era, the 2015 era. I told you this idea, Red, where I want to do vaporwave, but with the samples that weren't just commercial, 80s commercial or 80s house music, slowed down. And instead of big 80s drums, it would be live drums. Instead of a with the reverb, it would just be like on my phone, a recording of me playing my snare and my snare drum and bass drum. Sometimes not even in time with the song, but yeah, I wanted to preserve these, release these, and some interesting ideas in there. Residence Mole vibe, thank you. I don't know if I've heard Mole. That's one of their 80s albums, right? And this is a Chick Corea with Jaco Pastorius. Just looped it. I also had a friend who was trying to do rap, but he was into like 3 6 Mafia and Vaporwave and that kind of stuff. So he got me into like looking into original samples from all the songs we like. Oh shit. And that kind of inspired me to use Audacity to try to do something that wasn't the guitar. He was using Logic. It was a more legit way of working stuff. He had keyboards and MIDI. I just had a creative mind on my phone, and running songs through guitar pedals and then my amplifier and then to my phone. This is Bob Marley here. I really like how this turned out right here. Cause it sounds very amateurish, but it has something to it. I don't know why. A Little Rubber Band. This one works a little less, but it's still kind of kick. Whether it turned out right. That weird noise you hear throughout the song that's playing right now, I used that at the end of one of the Pomod songs. Probably a metaphysical thrift store. That era's my fave. Fingerprints, Vileness, Fats, first two Mole albums. Vileness was in the 80s? Well, I guess it probably released in the 80s. Wasn't that like something, one of their super earlier things? But it was considered lost. Might have read that a long time ago. Or skimmed it. Pomod is a retard that we came up for our next concept album called Pomod the Retard Streamer. Now, the kind of music that we're playing here isn't really what most people consider music, but we will tell a story about this little retard that is named Pomod. Trying to do a light Homer Flynn. The accent's gotta be stronger. He's almost got like a Johnny Cash thing going on, which would make sense. Pomod the retard. Okay. Yeah, man, residents fucking rule. You know, if there's a band that you could ever like point to and be like, that's definitely like a psyop or government controlled something, it would be the Residents, but it's not like they're huge or anything like that. I don't really know how you could use the Residents to be subversive. Well, maybe in the way to like in the nonsense way, like, but still. But, you know, as a normie, you would be like, what the fuck kind of MK Ultra shit is this? I think MF Doomer might have said that once or twice. I don't care. I'll listen to the CIA music. I'll listen to the Beatles, fuck you. It's good. And also I'm strong. Stronger than that. I think they're just tripped out. Yeah, definitely. And even that, you could think, I guess I just haven't taken enough acid to be like, okay, that's something people on acid would do. In terms of like noise music from the 70s, I could see that. I guess not every artist that's weird as Frank Zappa, you know. Plenty of artists love drugs. I can't lie. Face it, Pomade. No. What the Torah says about the afterlife. Why is this in my recommended? You know what it doesn't say? Don't recommend my channel, this channel. But it just doesn't seem the resonance like something like Duck Stab. I feel like would creep out most people who are on acid. But maybe I should trip and listen to some Resonance, which I would put that album on commercial. The little songies are my favorite part. And the first record, just because that's one of the first avant-garde records I ever listened to. Top to bottom on YouTube. Just like the only, it came at a time where the only avant-garde music I knew kind of was the Beatles. Just to show you. And I use Wikipedia to be like, okay, what was Sgt. Pepper's? Like, what was that? That all these tags on the avant-garde, this and that. I think I've seen somewhere the cover where it was mimicking the Beatles, and looked it up on Wiki and all this. Okay, I'll check this out. And it was it's just so strange, and mostly like that part's kind of cool. Some of the parts on the latter half or in the middle of the album are not so bad. But it is a trip. That part where it goes in the middle, it turns all sappy. Like, I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad. Merry Christmas. It's just, in my eyes, just a work of art. That sound. You just gotta sit through it. Oh, Spotify for you, hell yeah. Yeah, I don't I'm not subscribed to it, though I could easily be. I find YouTube is pretty all-encompassing for what I want to listen to. Quality be damned. But I wouldn't mind using Spotify. I was watching a Rick Beato video where he was talking about the stats, the data that most listened to, and of course it's a lot of modern music. Like the top 10 in the millions are all modern. Maybe at like 20 you get like Queen, who would be the top most listened to rock kind of band. And then who was after that? I forgot. But since Rick is a boomer, he was like lamenting that people weren't listening to Jimi Hendrix, who was like in the more like 600,000s. as compared to, you know, how many people are listening to Queen. Oh yeah, Nirvana was the other one. A lot of listens on Nirvana. And of course, it's not the end all be all of popularity. Spotify. It was a good metric for like for trends, I guess, bigger trends. That's crazy. You know that people would be listening to Queen and Nirvana more than the Beatles. Was another thing. No. Come on. Yeah, the Residents were basically my introduction into the avant-garde music, I would say. Just from going off the wiki, you know, kind of go through the history of it. It shows you like the fucking classical stuff and the fucking jazz, which I wouldn't be into until later. But in rock and punk or pop, that was the interesting stuff. With Frank Zappa, freaking late 70s British post-punk music. Oh shit. And so on and so forth. Real weirdo music.
guys. Let's get them on. Let's hit them on now while we've got the mic.
Oh. What's up, Midas?
This is the business we've chosen.
How you doing, my brother? Welcome.
Who gave the order? Because it had nothing to do with business.
We're doing all right. Just chillaxing here.
Oh yes, do it now, rockin' with the best. Oh yes.
Well, Midas, if that's true, that's pretty based. That kind of looks like a stock picture. Thank you, Kimosabi, for sharing the stream, my brother. Ate some chicken. Dum, 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 dum. Fucking Midas. Oh shit.
Yes, yes, here we go.
Oh.
Cause I pull it to the left, pull it to the right. Massive song, we never uptight. Want everybody just feel alright. Cause I pull it to the left, pull it to the right. Cause I pull it to the left, pull it to the right. Massive song, we never uptight. Want everybody just feel alright. Cause I pull it to the left, pull it to the right. Cause I pull it to the left, pull it to the right. Massive song, we never uptight. Want everybody just feel alright. Cause I pull it to the left, pull it to the right. Cause I pull it to the left, pull it to the right. Massive song, we never uptight. Want everybody just feel alright. Cause I pull it to the left. Come on.
This track's fucking gay. Ultimate history of early hardcore techno. 1992 to 99. Let's check it out. Who are these people? Holy Noise, General Noise, Vicious Delicious, DJ Hooligan, The Prophet, Dano, New Fight, Thunderball. Who are these people? Gangstar Tunes Industry. I don't care, let's check it out. Russia. New wall? Hold on. Wall. Literally wall. Russia again, damn. So all this kind of music is Russian music? This part right here. That's fucking... Hold on a second. Yeah. I don't know if we'll be able to show this. Yeah, this is fucking Kino. So hard. Even though it didn't get me into Mastodon, it was still cool as fuck for them to do. It was when metal was in the mainstream, for sure. Wait, that is a Adult Swim property? 100% sure. Kino, summer is ending.
It's a groovy time for a moody time. So grab your gal and grab a seat. But don't forget to get something to eat. Delicious meat and nutritious meat.
You can't beat my meat for a special treat. Sucking on me is really neat.
Don't be
That's true.
and don't be a fool. Be a neighbor and follow these rules. What are these rules? Remember to keep your shoes on at all times. Don't pull your penis off unless you really need to.
Thank you, Midas. Thank you for the links, brother. This song is so good. This song is what I feel on the inside. Oh, it still went through. Pipe organ.
If I see you
So true. And then the movie was retarded and shitty, from what I remember. The funny parts here and there, but what would you expect from Aqua Teen? Kino. Summer ending. Your friend's mom's reaction, that's funny. It would be unexpected. Thoughts on the Soviet Union? Well, I don't know. That was a crazy time, huh? I don't know. I wouldn't say I know enough to be for or against what they did. For what they did, I guess for the most part against, you know, communism. Communism. But maybe a slimeball Russian version of that, of what they did, wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, shit's crazy in that hemisphere over there. Svengoolie. They did some cool stuff in the late stages of their Jewish legacy. It's undeniable and irredeemable. Still surprisingly less evil than the ones in charge right now. Oh dang. They do slaughter Christians over there, right? Or is that something made up? I don't know. Oh shit. 4 backflips, let's go. Oh shit. Whoa, I survived that? Wow. That was crazy. This is a great song though. I indeed enjoyed this track. What? I indeed enjoy. Russian. They're frying the French flag. The French. Frying the French. That's so good. It's like how it's made. Oh, can we watch this? I can't remember. This might be some D-Live material. How let's speed it up here. Insane in the membrane.
A concept artist creates the design. The design then goes to a draftsperson who prepares the technical drawings. The organ's pipes are made of a mixture of tin and lead. Tin, the harder metal, gives brightness to the sound, while lead, the softer metal, gives it warmth. Artisans pour the molten alloy into a tray, then draw it out to form a sheet. As the sheet cools, the two metals react to each other, creating sparks.
The forbidden horse note.
Storage to give the alloy time to stabilize. 2 to 3 months later, it's ready to be formed into organ pipes.
The horse cord.
They cut pieces of metal in the shape of each pipe using templates and large rulers. Then they roll each piece using a mandrel. The larger the organ, the more pipes it has. Pipes are grouped in sets of 61, corresponding to the 61 black and white keys on the keyboard. An elaborate organ can have more than 10,000 pipes. The pipe maker carefully seals the body of each pipe by hand, using tin solder.
Damn it. Ah, no. I hate when that happens. Shit. I want to time it.
Next, he solders the body of the pipe to the foot and languid. The languid is the part that produces the pipe's sound. The process of giving a specific sound to each pipe is called voicing. This work is done by a trained musician called a voicer. He enlarges the mouth of the pipe, called the cut-up, until it's approximately a quarter of the width across. He adjusts the pipe some more,
Damn it.
blowing air through it to judge how to further refine the tone. Next come the wind chests, also called the soundboards. These are the large wooden boxes filled with air on which the pipes stand. Under each pipe is an air channel covered by a valve. The valve is made of leather and sits on a wooden board. When the organist pushes a key on the keyboard, the corresponding valve drops down like a trapdoor, releasing air into the pipe to play the note. They glue the valves to the wind chests one by one using animal glue. It's suppler and dries faster than synthetic glue. The valves are connected to the organ's keys mechanically by long tracks of cedar wood or by electrical wiring. The electric signal triggers electromagnets to cause a sudden air depression, making the trapdoor valve drop down and let the air in. The console is the organ's brain. It contains all the controls for the keys and sets of pipes. The organ's white keys are made of lindenwood covered with bone. The black keys of ebony or rosewood. An artisan adjusts the keys using a weight. When the weight rises, the tension is just right. The console, keys, and all the other components are finally put together in the assembly room.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm horse
After
pilled.
testing, they disassemble the organ and ship it to its destination, where it's reassembled. The voicers come on site to perform what's called tonal finishing. They check and adjust each pipe according to the acoustics of the room. This process can take many months for a large and elaborate organ.
Yeah, that could be a fucking pain in the ass, I could imagine. Having to tune that. Because it'll be bouncing off, you know, the church in unexpected ways. It's not like you'll have like acoustic padding, and this beautiful church has to be bare.
I've got their souls.
Freddy Krueger.
The fuck? This is pretty sick right here, actually. The nightmare. Germany.
Adesso sei mio, vieni qui, non aver paura.
That's a good track right there.
Hocus pocus. Hocus pocus.
It's more like a yay almost. Hold on. Like it's so good. It's so from the soul that there's no, doesn't even go past the lips. It's just pure like. Alright, thank you, Kimo. Yeah, it sounds like a death throw. But they just sound like that, you know, if they're pissed off. Yeah. Horses can be dicks sometimes, you know. And rowdy. Oh shit. Oh shit. Grand Theft Auto Online. Daniel, welcome to the Thunderdome. I guess some of these have samples that you can't play. Well, that's fucked up. Damn. I mean, like, oh yeah, you could put whatever you want on YouTube, but if the artist wants to, the person sampled wants it taken down, it's gonna get taken down. Sadly, revolution. It's out of your control. Yeah. Germany and fucking Russia going hard on that shit. Heard. Grand Theft Auto Online Survival Alternative 16, derived from fresh meat. The music. Oh, okay. Some GTA music. Oh, 1420. Epic, funny number. Little bass guitar right there. Oh my god. Okay, that's pretty good. That's funny. And you know what? I was gonna go for the horse scream. I was literally going for that. I did think it'd be literally horse death noise. Oh, it was used in Minecraft. Oh, okay. Let's go. Let's watch the whole thing in slow motion. Well, the music is kind of good. Oh shit. No. Not that window. Yeah, the horse sound is like they're crushing a horse in like a press. We just threw a horse into a quarry over a cliff. Into a meat grinder. Whoa. Not so crazy about the guitar in the song. Bass is pretty cool. Shit. Oh shit. More horse. This is the horse stream. Officially. Long pause right there. Bit too much of a pause, if you ask me. Your neighbors are hearing this. Yeah, fuck them. Fuck you. Fuck you, Midas's neighbors. Specifically. That'll be one cool thing about finally learning MIDI this year. As in, like in these, it'll probably take like 3 days. But I'll be working with it. Getting to know the ropes, the shortcomings, the advantages. The advantages being like the crazy, anything sound you can get. Looking for some, gonna look for some cool synth sounds. Cool. You can sample anything you want. So I can throw in the drum sounds I want. This and that. Because I do feel like I'm on a musical roll. I think most of that should be put towards practicing, which I have been. But I still want to learn a few things. Gotta get the pomade set tight. It'll be like a fun exercise for myself. I want to put together an imaginary set list of songs, which I always thought if I did like a tour where it's just me, my laptop, or my flash drive, just to do a new solo every night. So the exercise would be learn the songs inside and out. Because in the live arena, there's no cutting up and replacing parts. It's all laid out there. And that does require practice. What's up, man? What's up? Oh. Alright. You can hear the horns down with the back here. Sounds kind of Kino in the song. This part's pretty cool. This part with the synth Wave 8. This is the guitar though. Who put the guitar in? Yeah, it kind of rocks. It's the new, what to call it? Scroochy scratchy turntabling. Turntable hero. Oh, okay. Gracias. The new Gollum game? I've heard of this. What the fuck? That's fucking retarded. Wow. I paid $60 for this, yep. That's life as a gamer, I'm sorry. Golem, it just looks so ugly too. Coster. Fucking fat cunt. Gargantuan tank you. No wonder he's so fat. Scarfing all that food down. How the Viet Cong smoked American soldiers.
These Viet Cong are elusive. You can't see them. All you can do is hear the bullets.
Hey, what's up, Uyghur? How you doing, buddy?
An enemy which steals from us the weapons of the 20th
Welcome.
century and supplements them with the weapons of the 16th century.
We're watching Viet Cong.
Great care. Every object is a possible booby trap. Some booby traps are more alluring and ingenious than others. If you are a boob, you will be trapped.
Oh no. World War III just started. Oh well.
The Americans could have learned something from Vietnam. Using the conflict as a lesson, American planners could have used as precedent the futility of using such metrics as body counts.
Live footage of World War III right here.
Success in war. Of course, the war American planners knew that bombing wouldn't win the war.
Reports of Midas's mom's legs flying open.
Bombing by itself
And millions of... No, sorry.
had already dropped a heavier tonnage
Oh
of
shit.
bombs than in all
That's what I get.
years of World War II.
That's what I deserve.
An
An estimated 90,000.
infiltrated into South Vietnam.
Hmm.
In the opening
Yeah,
weeks of
90.
1968, infiltrators were coming in at 3 to 4 times the rate of a year earlier, despite the ferocity and intensity of our bombing campaign. Despite this, heavy firepower continued to be the grand strategy for all future American wars, the success of which would vary between ambiguous and outright catastrophic. Iraq and Afghanistan are no exception. Iraq, as I covered in my Iraq insurgency video, proved to have a boundless will to resist. And despite clobbering the country with unrelenting firepower, the Iraqis were never subdued, the Americans' goals were never met, and the Iraq fiasco proved to be a massive and costly failure. The cleverness of the Iraqis also knew no bounds, who had no army to speak of by April
I'll be right back.
2003. No navy, no air force, no helicopters, and by arming themselves with simple assault rifles, machine guns, rockets, and mortars, and by utilizing scraps of metal and electronics, they were able to outfit themselves into a formidable force, against all the odds stacked against them. Iraq was guerrilla war, as was Vietnam. In Robert Asprey's mammoth history of guerrilla warfare, the author describes the mentality that the Americans were operating from. Quote, not understanding basic tenets of guerrilla warfare, American senior officers converted fatalities into victories. This was a great mistake. Dead bodies do not mean destroyed infrastructure. Dead bodies, particularly those of innocent peasants, mean a strengthening, not a weakening, of the insurgent cause. The colonial enemy of the Iraqis were the British. In Vietnam, the French. In their pacification campaign, the French arrested nationalist leaders and executed them via guillotine, even displaying their severed heads publicly to terrorize would-be revolutionaries. Many were imprisoned and shipped off to Kung Dao, a prison that would be maintained through the American occupation and would come to have a brutal reputation. Those imprisoned at Kung Dao would form the early foundation of the Communist Revolutionary Movement and included multiple future prime ministers. When the United States took over from the French in 1954, they, as had happened in Iraq nearly 50 years later, would make a series of blunderous errors that by all means created a guerrilla army that took up arms to fight them. After the French were defeated on the battlefield, a Geneva Conference split Vietnam in two and created the country of South Vietnam. It is no exaggeration to say that the country of South Vietnam was a creation of the United States. The U.S. would even handpick an exile named Ngo Dinh Diem and import him directly from the United States.
Wow.
Despite the Geneva Conference's guidelines for a national election to be held in 1956, Diem and his American handlers blocked democratic elections. And with the introduction of such laws as the Public Meetings Law, which banned assembly, and the Bill for the Protection of Morality, effectively banning free speech and causing total censorship of press, Diem was now a full-fledged dictator. In 1963, Ambassador Henry Cabot Lodge would express his dismay at the inefficiency of Diem's internal police service. Vietnam is not a thoroughly strong police state because, unlike Hitler's Germany, it is not efficient. But don't think the American involvement was merely at an advisory level. Diem's special police was secretly managed by the CIA, who did so through a contract with Michigan State University. Beginning in 1955, MSU spent $15 million of U.S. taxpayer money building up South Vietnam's security services. In 1959, Diem passed the 1059 Edict, which made, quote, infringements on the national security punishable by death with no appeal. By year's end, Diem and his secret police had imprisoned 50,000 people. Diem's forces would embark on expeditions in the South in order to round up communist sympathizers, and namely the Viet Minh. These expeditions were very, very violent, and between 1957 and 1961, nearly 70,000 people were killed, giving Diem's secret police the fair categorization of a Latin American-style death squad. John F. Kennedy saw a huge
Makes you think back to how on Sneakcast Marv said democratic governments see casualties as a must to justify continuing their wars.
There were nearly 12,000 U.S. troops in the country.
Possibly.
The escalation was part of an effort to drive scores
Hell,
of
they used to be
Vietnamese
so
into concentration camps, or what the U.S. military and to
convoluted.
this day many historians and journalists
It's just
call
like mafia.
strategic hamlets. The program had already been
It's
tried
like
under
mafia.
Diem, who, along with his many other failed ventures, had forcibly
Racketeering,
transferred
I guess.
200,000 people into these camps. With America's help, that number would jump to over 8 million. Upon arrival,
Maybe is that what they put
civilians were
out?
made to dig
Probably.
ditches and wrap
I
barbed
think
wire
so.
around the perimeter of the camps, and build a wall of sharpened bamboo stakes. All this ostensibly to protect the villagers from the resistance, who many of them supported. And by forcibly uprooting the people from their ancestral homes, the program also created scores of new insurgents. A report on a strategic hamlet from the U.S. General Accounting Office concluded, during our inspection, we observed there were no latrines, no usable wells, no classrooms, and no medical facilities. The shelters were crudely constructed from a variety of waste material, such as empty ammunition boxes and cardboard. The American Refugee Advisor stated that there were no plans to improve the living conditions at this site. The violent expeditions undertaken by the U.S. and South Vietnamese government, as with the cordon and sweep operations and raids in Iraq, did major damage to their own cause. The same can be said for mass imprisonment, and in the case of Vietnam, outright internment, all leading up to the creation of a mysterious ragtag group of nationalists. As the Viet Minh sought to expel the French, these ambitious figures sought to defeat the Diemist forces, and ultimately the United States, who in their eyes were merely colonists by another name. The so-called strategic hamlets became a despised symbol of the Diem regime, and were targeted for attack by guerrillas, their prisoners freed. Leading the charge was a group calling itself the National Liberation Front, and by dismantling the camps, which by 1963 held 67% of the rural population, the NLF were making serious gains, and were approaching majority control of the countryside. The NLF, what the Western press refers to as the Viet Cong, initially sought a non-violent political strategy, but following the introduction of Siam's concentration camps and 1059 Edict, the guerrillas mounted an organized, widespread, and popularly supported rebellion. The NLF's Liberation Army was organized into two principal groups of combatants, a main force organized into companies and battalions in standard army fashion, and irregular paramilitaries. These local forces were farmers by day and guerrillas by night, and engaged in combat whenever they had a military advantage. The guerrilla farmers were the pool from which assassination teams, volunteer grenade throwers, and saboteurs were drawn. In order to seize and then control territory, that territory's administration had to be replaced by the administration of the NLF, and the way to do that was to liquidate them. Targeting the state-appointed village chiefs, the insurgency killed an estimated 4,000 from 1960 to 1961 alone. A captured military document tells fighters to, quote, carry out assassination missions right at the center to immobilize the enemy. Prime targets should be security forces and civil action district officials, hooligans, and thugs. After working tirelessly to peel the lid off the insurgency and embarrassing the United States with his suppression of Buddhists, Siam was finally seen as too costly to keep around. So, with the authorization of Ambassador Lodge, Siam was shot and then stabbed in the heart by a military assassin inside of a car.
Whoa.
By then, the NLF controlled most of the countryside, and they showed no sign of slowing down.
Well, that's what it gets.
They ambushed and attacked South Vietnamese military and police outposts, and seized their American weapons, which, as we'll see, they were becoming heavily armed with. And it wasn't only outposts either. By 1964, the Liberation Army had become capable of wiping out entire units of Saigon troops, or about 100 men. But it wasn't often that they were able to take out entire battalions, which numbered between 500 and 700 troops. Nevertheless, in 1964, they managed to wipe out 8 of them. Toward the end of the year, the fighting escalated when NLF forces commenced a series of attacks on Saigon troops, and in December, they would wipe out 2.5 battalions out of just 11 in the Strategic Reserves, an elite U.S.-trained force, which by 1965 had virtually ceased to exist. The garrisons manning the small outposts and watchtowers fled in fear, and the ones that did remain were spared by supplying arms to the guerrillas. A standard price for a month's survival was 10,000 rounds of ammunition a month. As in Iraq, Vietnam became overflowing with weaponry, but not from the weapons depots that were already there. It was the Americans who were supplying their enemy. Wilfred Burchett, who lived among Vietnamese communists in South Vietnam for 6 months during the war, described in detail the degree to which the Americans were supplying them. When one looked at a regular soldier of the front, the extent of U.S. gifts became even more impressive. His standard arm is the U.S. carbine, but a percentage of his comrades in arms will be carrying Garands, Tommy guns, 37mm machine guns, a variety of bazookas and mortars, and in battalion-sized units, a few of the highly appreciated 57mm recoilless cannon. Indeed, Lyndon B. Johnson's massive escalation of the war and the subsequent increase in military equipment and arms only made the problem worse. America's guys, the Army of the Republic of Vietnam, or ARVN, and the Government of Vietnam, or GVN, were some of the biggest sources of their arms. And by selling them off to make personal fortunes, the South Vietnamese government was furnishing the communists with more weapons than were arriving from Hanoi. In 1965, Lyndon Johnson authorized a surge of hundreds of thousands of troops, which would peak at over 500,000 by 1968. With more U.S. troops came more U.S. casualties, and in 1966, already over 6,000 Americans were killed. The Liberation Forces had the advantage of a vast network of spies and extensive popular support from the rural population. They were also in their native territory. Marine Captain John G. Miller would recount some of the challenges faced by Americans in Vietnam. The constant heavy rains of the wet monsoon can swell rifle stocks to the point where the trigger cannot be depressed completely, and where disassembly and assembly are out of the question. Rust and corrosion of metal surfaces are, of course, accompanying side effects. Their heavy gear was also a huge setback. A Marine wearing a flak jacket will not match the cross-country speed of a guerrilla who is not wearing one. Captain Francis West of the 9th Marines would agree. Each rifleman carried 150 rounds of ammunition and 2 or more hand grenades. The men of the 2 machine gun crews were strapped with belts of linked cartridges totaling 1,200 rounds. The platoon moved out at 1100. There was no breeze and no shade. The temperature was 102 degrees Fahrenheit. Within 5 minutes, every Marine was soaked in sweat. Soldiers were no doubt scared, ill-equipped to fight an enemy who vanished into thin air when confronted. Jungle shadows. Didn't help that the NLF had created a whole life underground, building extremely impressive networks of tunnels, with some containing kitchens, with dispersed horizontal ventilation tunnels leading some distance away in order to avoid detection from aircraft. Many tunnels were reinforced and sealed with concrete. Some even opened up underneath streams or canals. The base area at Cu Chi contained nearly 200 miles of tunnels. There were storage rooms for weapons or rice, or even small clinics. Tunnels near the surface led up to hundreds of firing posts. Wilfred Burchett, the Western journalist who lived with the NLF, described some of these firing posts. I was taken to inspect a single clump of bamboo and told to look very carefully for anything suspicious among the roots. I found nothing. Then I was taken into the tunnel and to a firing position which could accommodate 3 or 4 people. Someone took a stick and poked it through what seemed to be blind slits with earthen gun rests behind them. Impossible for anyone to detect at even a few yards. Other firing positions which I inspected were also perfectly camouflaged, and as the guerrillas changed places constantly, even if the gun flash or smoke gave a position away, it would be little use firing at it. Indeed, Burchett was with the Liberation Army while they engaged in a firefight with enemy forces. The guerrillas fired, then rushed to positions parallel to the line of flight and fired again, moving with incredible speed through the undergrowth and firing all the time. No amount of American assistance in Indochina can conquer an enemy which is everywhere and at the same time nowhere. An enemy of the people which has the sympathy and support of the people. Since the liberation forces were so elusive, many U.S. troops were put in the uncomfortable position of leading with their chins, which is exactly what the guerrillas wanted them to do. They'd react in one of a few ways, including leading them on a wild goose chase and ambushing them. Indeed, ambushes with small arms fire accounted for many deaths of GIs. But there were other concerns, namely booby traps. Made by NLF troops and even villagers, but pioneered by the minority tribes of Vietnam such as the Kor, Manang, and Ede, these death traps have become a hallmark of the war in Vietnam, much like the IEDs.
Sorry, I had to take the dogs out.
Trapdoors on trails led to a bed of bamboo punji spikes, spiked beams swung from door frames, and giant flying medieval-style maces made by stuffing clay into a basket with spikes sticking out of it were just some of their creative undertakings. These weapons are legendary, and like the IEDs of Iraq, a huge blow to morale, since their distribution and ubiquity could only mean one thing, that they were made with the full knowledge and even support of much of the population. Indigenous tribes also used homemade crossbows, shooting poisoned arrows which paralyzed and killed, spreading terror amongst the South Vietnamese forces. One particularly gnarly invention, as observed by Wilfred Burchett, was the spiking of rice paddies in order to target marauding government troops. The spikes are set in rigid lengths of bamboo and planted deep in the rice field slush. Wounds inflicted in the rice field slush were particularly serious because of the human and pig excrement lavishly used as manure. Amputations were almost the only answer to infections from such wounds.
Oh shit.
A rough way of fighting, one may well comment, but so was the attempt to starve out the tribal people by destroying their food crops. But IEDs aren't just a relic of Iraq, they were used liberally in Vietnam as well. By rigging mines to explode via tripwires or electronic detonation, IEDs were among the most deadly and effective weapons against the American occupation. In fact, the first U.S. soldier killed in action in Vietnam was hit by an anti-personnel mine. As in Korea, flooding the country with landmines proved to have a disastrous blowback effect which killed scores of Americans. In fact, mines would account for 33% of all U.S. casualties in Vietnam, along with 28% of deaths. Individual units suffered even greater losses. The 1st Marine Division reported that 57% of their casualties were from mines and booby traps during the latter half of 1968. In 1967, mines and booby traps caused 4,300 U.S. casualties. In 1968, that number jumped to 5,800. We suspect that the figures attributed to mines are low. It is probable that the classification of fragmentation casualties, which we have not counted, contains the results of many mines and booby trap incidents. Several divisions have reported, for example, that about half of their hostile casualties are inflicted by mines and booby traps. On August 6, 1970, Gordon Weiss would feel the sting of an anti-personnel mine on a routine patrol, writing in a letter to his family, quote, "Assumed you'd heard what happened to me. To make matters short, I was walking point
Kind of zesty pose.
somewhere around 10 in the morning. I hit a booby trap. It was a pressure release type mine, therefore it was easily camouflaged and rough to spot. I lost most of my left leg and my left hand. I'll write when I have the chance." Weiss wouldn't get the chance. He died 2 days later from his injuries. We kill more Americans with our own mines than we do anyone else. And the Pentagon knew this for years. By 1969, the Pentagon admitted, at least internally, that most mines were American-made. The enemy uses a very limited number of Soviet and Chinese communist mines. The majority are fabricated locally in village or district munition factories from U.S. duds and refuse. 90% of all mine and booby trap components are U.S. origin. Indeed, on any given year, American bombing could leave behind more than 20,000 tons of unexploded ordnance. And after these air raids, volunteers could retrieve these bombs and begin the dangerous process of creating booby traps with them. One stop in Wilfred Burchett's journey with the Vietnamese communists was a fully functioning bomb factory. Laboratories housed bamboo huts lined with U.S. parachute nylon. Girls with delicate balances were weighing the minuscule quantities of explosives necessary for various types of detonator caps. Lathes, generators, boring and polishing machines, all of them American, were in underground dugouts. Before being killed by a landmine himself, Gordon Weiss eerily described life in the mine-infested jungle.
That's such a
Mines are
such a horrible photo. Look at that.
do nothing more than
Oh my god. He's
life in the
dead.
mine.
Oh, with his fucking little 70s mustache. Oh my god.
Infested jungle.
But it was war.
Mines are a horrible, senseless device that do nothing more than slow us down. We'd rather take on 1,000 in a firefight than have to walk through a known minefield. In what exact ways have we advanced toward peace? The war, as we know it, is still going on. Replacements are still being sent to Vietnam. We are still suffering about 750 casualties a week. And the war is still costing the American people about $70 million a day. What could the Vietnam War have taught American planners if they had chosen to heed its warning? It seems clear that time and time again, saturation bombing is wholly ineffective at subduing an insurgency. Rounding up and interning them doesn't seem to make any difference either. In fact, it only appears to enrage and embolden them. An audit of the war, by its numbers, again paints the portrait of a complete failure of America's core goals. According to official American military estimates, there were 134,000 communist regulars and guerrillas in the South at the end of 1965. By 1967, that number may have been as high as 280,000, but the CIA believed the actual figure was much higher, at over 500,000 by 1968. So, rather, the bombing and internment seemed to have the diametric opposite effect. And yet massive and disproportionate firepower and mass detention without trial continue to pace. Since there is no logic, perhaps American planners operate on an illogical basis and are surrounded by mentally deranged cronies and ghouls. Well, they are, but there is a logic to what they do. Using contractors to maintain, guard, and staff prisons, buying all of these thousands of tons of ordnance, does serve a purpose: to enrich a ghoulish sector of the economy that is in ecstasy at the thought of a massive air war against a defenseless population. And many in the
So
industry
true.
actively participate in waging public campaigns in order to garner support to launch more of them. These wars, as costly as they are to the United States, enrich private industries, all the while subverting America's prestige and global hegemony. In any case, if American planners will not use the example of Vietnam and Iraq, and Afghanistan and Korea as lessons in order to save lives or even save themselves, citizens of the world, particularly those designated by the United States as state sponsors of terrorism or enemies, can use the lesson of the National Liberation Front. Despite the America's use of an auxiliary force, namely the South Vietnamese, and their vastly disproportionate technological edge, the Vietnamese were able to secure many enemy KIA, and ultimately win the war. As in Iraq, the resistance was so overwhelming against such an awesome occupying force that it should indeed be studied in insurgency and revolutionary circles for many years to come. I need your help. This channel relies on donations and patrons. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video or you feel like you learned
Sick
something,
video.
please consider subscribing. And if you want to support the
Very
channel
well
further,
done.
just go to patreon.com.
This guy's very talented right here, I tell you.
The link is in the description.
He's
join
got a
the
sub
many different
from
Discord
me.
servers. Everyone is really cool and we talk about video ideas all the time. It's a great community. I also accept donations via PayPal and Cash App. Those QR codes are on the screen now. Also, those links are in the description as well. I'd really appreciate any donations since YouTube hardly monetizes my videos, and it all goes
Link to this video.
Stay tuned for future videos about Iraq for my 20th anniversary series. Love you all. Thanks and take care.
Nice. Nice. What other videos does he have here? Oh, he's got the he's got the based fucking thingies right here, the thumbnails. Thingy nails. How Israel lies about everything. So true. Based. Braised beef and cocaine. What? Peeing like this could get you killed by a drone strike. What? Area 51 explained. Alright. I'm listening.
Bob Lazar claims our government captured alien spaceships. Lazar has been questioned and criticized. He even had to take a lie detector test, and that's when some people started believing him.
Strange lights over Las Vegas. Strange things like this have been appearing over the Nevada desert for years. The answer to the mystery may lie in the sprawling Nevada nuclear test site in a place called Area 51. Area 51 is known by other names: Groom Lake, Dreamland, the Skunk Works. It's an isolated military facility where the U.S. develops its most top-secret projects. The U-2 spy plane was developed here. So was its replacement, the high-flying Blackbird.
Whoa.
But there are some who believe these formerly secret projects are nothing compared to what's currently under wraps. No one who has actually worked on the test site has ever talked about what goes on there. No one, that is, until now.
They are actively and have in their possession alien spacecraft, and they are actively undergoing analysis.
He drew these sketches of one of 9 different saucers he says the government has in a secret warehouse. He willingly agreed to take a lie detector test. Terry Tavernetti is the ex-cop who administered the test.
He gave absolutely no physiological
I just feel like if the
indications of attempt
just that this
deception.
stuff is out just means that it's kind of bunk.
In the mid-1960s,
Not that it's not true, they do have the
Ralph
technology.
Friedman, known by friends as Jim,
But
was
since
working
they
at
can't
Area
do anything
51
with it,
for a
really,
defense contractor
right?
called EG&G. Friedman was responsible for securing overnight shipments of equipment, as well as
AI, I
managing
guess.
all manner of security and transportation. At that time, UFOs were a pretty big thing. Indeed, they were. Not since the late 1940s had public interest in UFOs been so intense.
This is a UFO, unidentified flying object.
And a sharp increase in sightings had been reported, especially in the American Southwest. One day, while Friedman was driving with his supervisor through Area 51, he decided to bring up the subject. He told his boss, "I heard through the rumor mill that one of the UFOs had gone to a remote area of the test site. I heard it was in Area 22. Things got awkward. His boss didn't say a word and kept his eyes forward on the road. Then he said, "Jim, I don't want to hear you mention anything like that ever again if you want to keep your job." To say that Area 51 is an enigma would be a massive understatement. Area 51 is a military training facility located within an enormous swath of land called the Nevada Test and Training Range. This military installation is roughly the size of the state of Connecticut, more than twice the size of Delaware. Within this vast expanse is an area known as the Nevada Test Site, where, during the Cold War, the U.S. would explode many hundreds of powerful nuclear weapons, above ground and also in deep underground shafts and tunnels. These tests would continue until 1992. One blast was so large and so poisonous that it left Area 51 deserted for years. The facility, as it's called, is almost entirely hidden from the general public. In 2019, a man was shot and killed for trespassing onto the property after gunning it in his car and driving more than 8 miles into the test site. The area is patrolled by armed military guards in white pickup trucks, called camo dudes.
Put your hands up. I'm not going to tell you again.
The only way to get a glimpse into the base itself is hiking to the peak of Tikaboo Mountain, more than 26 miles away. The site is surrounded on all sides by high mountain ranges. Much of what is known is likely only a fraction of what has really happened at this bizarre and mysterious location. It remains one of the most secure locations on planet Earth, closely guarded and extremely classified. This secretive nature has been true of Area 51 since the beginning. The story begins actually before Area 51, with a little operation called the Manhattan Project. Until 2013, the US government had never acknowledged the existence of Area 51, meaning that it officially didn't exist until then. This type of operation, which is completely secret, is known as a Black Project or Black Operation. The Manhattan Project was the original Black Operation that paved the way for all future Black operations. The Manhattan Project, or the construction of the nuclear bomb during World War II, was so secret that Vice President Harry Truman didn't even know about it. Not until Franklin Roosevelt died did Truman finally learn about the operation, when he became president. What makes this even crazier is the fact that as a senator, Truman led a congressional committee, later called the Truman Commission, that was tasked with keeping track of defense spending during the war. The project was led by Army Major General Leslie Groves and employed well over 100,000 people. Despite this, no more than a few dozen people knew of its true purpose. The vast majority of workers had no idea what they were working on. Many workers manned factories overlooking dials and switches. Mary Ann Buffard worked in the laundry for the Monsanto Chemical Company, who was contracted to work on the project. After washing and ironing workers' uniforms, I'd hold the uniform up to a special instrument, and if I heard a clicking noise, I'd throw it back in to be done all over again. That's all I did, all day long. Mary wouldn't learn until after the war that the special instrument was a Geiger counter, and the clicking was radiation. The headquarters of the Manhattan Project lay in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, of which the existence was secret. Dubbed the Secret City, over 75,000 people settled there, and during the height of the war, it drew more power from America's electrical grid than the entire city of New York. By the time the bomb was tested in New Mexico in July 1945, the price tag for the bomb was nearly $2 billion. Adjusted for inflation, that's over $20 billion today. Not a single member of Congress knew of the Manhattan Project until the bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The Manhattan Project's
I
post-war successor
find that hard to believe.
Or AEC,
Every
which was
single
established
member
through
of
the
Congress.
Atomic Energy
Come on.
Act. The AEC would then establish the Nevada test site as a place to blow up their many nuclear weapons. The AEC would be the first civilian government agency that maintained secrets outside of the president. In 1994, after Bill Clinton established a committee to investigate radiation experiments on human subjects, information was kept from the president because he wasn't on a need-to-know basis. Area 51 is a secret city of its own. In the Nevada Test and Training Range sits a large salt flat, or dry lake bed, called Groom Lake, the official name for Area 51, according to the CIA. The Groom Dry Lake would be chosen as the location for Project Aquatone, or the creation of the U-2 spy plane. In 1955, the CIA would set up shop along with the Lockheed Corporation, creating airplane hangars and building runways. In the beginning, it was just a few dozen Lockheed engineers, CIA spooks, and Air Force staff. The U-2 spy plane was another project, like the Manhattan Project before it, that was shrouded in secrecy, the details of which are astonishing. First of all, to get the U-2 spy planes into Area 51 in the first place, the plane was broken down, piece by piece, which were all covered in white sheets so nobody could get a look at them. They were then put into the belly of a C-124 airplane and flown to Area 51 from Lockheed's facility in Burbank, California, home of the famous Skunk Works program. The planes would be pieced together inside of airplane hangars before they were flown. According to security guard Richard Mingus, I had no clue what the airplane looked like until it flew directly over my head. In November of 1955, a C-54 military transport plane carrying Lockheed, Air Force, and CIA staff crashed into Charleston Mountain on its way to Area 51. All 14 men on board were killed instantly.
Damn.
Immediately, the military and CIA sprang into action. The press was stonewalled from the site by a military blockade. The CIA would then send a U-2 spy plane to locate the site of the crash. This was technically its first mission, which was also completely unplanned. The Las Vegas Review-Journal surmised that the crew was likely working on nuclear weapons, given the apparent sensitive nature of the crash. The men's occupations were, of course, extremely classified, and their identities were kept secret. Their families would not be told that their loved ones were actually working on a top-secret mission for the CIA. Although the crash happened in 1955, the families would not be told until 2002. Such is the nature of the U-2 spy program. The CIA and the military went to extreme lengths to keep it from getting out. I was sworn to secrecy for 47 years. I couldn't talk about it. That's James Allen Noche, another veteran of Area 51. Noche worked in security for the CIA and was always paid in cash or given fake Pan Am checks.
Just a look at this
When a
guy.
spy plane crashed in Utah in May of 1963, a sheriff and a family on vacation were present and witnessed the crash. The pilot had ejected and survived, but the plane was a smoldering wreck. The family promptly began taking pictures at the scene, and according to Noche, we confiscated the camera, took the film out. We just said we worked for the government. Noche told them to never speak of the crash to anyone. You scared them. We told them that there would be dire consequences. On top of that, though, CIA agents arrived on the scene with a briefcase filled with cash. I think it was like 25 grand apiece, for the sheriff and the family. It was common practice. That it was. In another incident, when a Greyhound bus grazed the side of a CIA trailer on the road, the driver was given a stack of $5,000 in cash to avoid any legal or insurance inquiry. Airline pilots often reported sightings of spy planes as UFOs. The reason for this is understandable. At this time, passenger airplanes would fly at an altitude of around 10 to 20,000 feet. The U-2 spy plane flew at around 70,000 feet. And since the existence of the U-2 was a secret, flying at that altitude was otherwise thought to be impossible for a man-made aircraft. The altitudes only got higher with the advent of the U-2's successor, the A-12.
That's fucking
also known
crazy
as the
seeing that
Oxford.
thing.
This particular plane flew at an altitude of 90,000 feet. It would
Seeing
be
actual
strange if they
footage
didn't think it
of
was
that
a
thing
UFO.
flying is so weird.
When pilots made these reports to the FAA, the base commander at Area 51 would send FBI agents to meet the plane when it landed. They would then force the pilots, as well as all the passengers, to sign non-disclosure agreements. Despite their efforts, UFO sightings in the region were rampant. To avoid the sensitive information from being compromised, the National Security Council convened a psychological strategy board, calling gullibility and mass hysteria a national security threat. What followed was a so-called debunking effort, downplaying UFO stories in the media. The panel sought to utilize articles, TV shows, and movies, even seeking the help of the Disney Corporation to sway public opinion, and to make UFOs seem uninteresting and easily explainable.
First of all, the objects are not unidentified. We know what they are. Second, in most cases, they're not flying. And finally, in many cases, they are not even material objects.
But public interest in UFOs never died down, and they would take on an entirely
guy's
new
lying.
form when KLAS of Las Vegas ran a story with an anonymous man who claimed to have worked at the Nevada Test and Training Range. Robert Lazar, who maintains his story to this day, claims to have worked at a secret facility called
Stephen
S4
King?
near Area 51 proper. Lazar is perhaps the most important reason why Area 51 is associated with aliens and UFOs. Lazar claims that he was hired by the contractor EG&G, where he worked to reverse engineer an alien spacecraft, one of 9 held at the facility. He also said that on one occasion, while walking with armed guards, he thought he saw what looked like a small alien in between 2 doctors with lab coats on. Lazar would subsequently reveal his identity to the world, and he maintains a cult-like following. But serious doubts arose about Lazar's story. He appears to have lied about his education, claiming he was a graduate of MIT and Caltech, despite them having no record of him attending.
There's no record of Lazar ever being there. No, I'll tell you why. I can't tell you why. We're gonna edit this out. Okay, and we're back.
Proponents of Bob's story claim that these are a result of efforts to smear him. The story past this point in the Area 51 history has culminated in what is probably some of the worst journalism in the history of the United States. Seriously, Area 51 appears to be where journalism goes to die. In 2011, author Annie Jacobson would publish a hugely popular book titled Area 51, An Uncensored History of America's Top Secret Military Base. The book was praised by some and is heavily cited as a source by media outlets when doing stories on Area 51. In the book, Jacobson claims that the name Area 51 comes from the fact that the remains of the Roswell crash were transported to the area in 1951. Jacobson claims that what crashed at Roswell was a flying disc with so-called hover and fly technology. This was, according to her, built by Nazi scientists working for the Soviet Union. The disc, according to her, contained the bodies of children, bred by Nazi Dr. Joseph Mengele to have large heads and large eyes. But 2 of the children survived, and they were imprisoned at S4, where they underwent cruel human experimentation. This supposedly lasted into the 1980s.
Goddamn.
The source for this story was a single anonymous engineer who worked for EG&G, and although Jacobson doesn't name him in her book, the man's identity was revealed by ABC News as Al O'Donnell.
I never
Funny
heard of
enough,
Mengele
Jacobson actually quotes him
angle
in
to
other
Area
parts of the
51.
book, describing him as an EG&G engineer, but citing him as anonymous when describing the Roswell story in a strange attempt to conceal his identity. According to George Knapp, the reporter for KLAS, who originally broke Bob Lazar's story, he met with O'Donnell. Al O'Donnell told him a completely different story from the one he told to Jacobson.
And over the course of 2 years, I would meet with him. Remember Annie Jacobson, her book about Area 51?
Yeah.
Well, it's the same guy, but the story that he told me was different than what he told her. He said that they eventually told me that they had a live alien out there. He said this thing was alive, and that they eventually were able to communicate with us. 2 or 3 years later, he totally changes his story. What had happened was there was a congressional investigator, and he worked for Senator Robert Byrd. But after that congressional inquiry, this guy completely changed his tune. So he made up this story, which is the one that you heard from Annie Jacobson. Completely ridiculous.
Which story to believe? Is O'Donnell totally batshit? I'll let you all decide that one. Whether you believe engineers at Area 51 were reverse engineering alien spacecraft, they were reverse engineering Soviet MiGs.
I hate Bluetooth
The pilots and
speakers.
engineers of Area 51 and Lockheed's Skunk Works
I
would
always
also
hate trying to
rapidly
connect
develop
with
advanced
Bluetooth and
stealth technology for
this
the
and that
military,
shit is
including the
fucking annoying.
SR-71 Blackbird and one of the first
So true, mate.
the F-117 Nighthawk. with fuselage acting as a mirror to deflect radar.
Nerds with supercomputers,
Area 51
which
was
were
the
basically
location for the
less
testing of the
than
most cutting-edge aerial reconnaissance
less than
technology.
a
But it was at the
Nokia.
dawn of the 20th century that would become the dawn of the unmanned aerial vehicle. After the September 11th attacks, the budget for Area 51 became a bottomless pit. It was like the late 1950s Cold War boom all over again. But this new
I gotta
cutting
pull
edge
out my
was
beanwork
drones.
to get the music going.
Did you know that before 9/11,
Shit.
the US government plotted to take out Osama bin Laden with a drone strike in Afghanistan? In the winter of 2000, the CIA and the Air Force worked together to turn their arsenal of reconnaissance or spy drones into remote-controlled killing machines. These drones were test flown at where else but Area 51, as they probably still are to this day. The aim was to take the Predator drone and slap on some anti-tank Hellfire missiles for targeted assassinations. The name of the drone itself would change, from RQ-1, R for reconnaissance, to MQ-1, M for multi-role, meaning spying and killing. Predator's successor, known as the Reaper drone, would prove to be even deadlier, carrying not only missiles, but also laser-guided bombs. While Predator could carry 200
Fucking
pounds
need
of
her
bombs,
today for some reason. I
Reaper
think I was
could carry 1.5
folding it
tons
too
of
much.
The government wanted to kill bin Laden following the bombings of the
Gotta be
U.S.
careful.
embassies in Nairobi and Dar es Salaam. The Air Force and the CIA would engineer a full-scale mock-up of Osama bin Laden's residence in Afghanistan at Area 51. But CIA Director George Tenet called off the strike. After 9/11 and the subsequent War on Terror, the drone program ballooned into a widespread killing campaign that extends to the ends of the earth, killing tens of thousands of people since. So, is Area 51 just the testing ground for futuristic spy technology? Or is there also alien technology there? I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys. And always an extra special thank you to my patrons. Got another video coming real soon, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. Thanks everyone, and take care.
I miss when technology was used with stiff phallic switches instead of clit-like buttons. So true. Well, didn't it used to be more clit-like? Well, I guess keyboards are still clit-like. There's echoes of the clit. Oh wait, no. There should be echoes of the phallic. Stiff phallic. The switch is like cranks, like. Yeah, giant crank should be the mouse. Honestly, just like stick shift. But still, we got fucking. Ugh. Clitic. Ban all vaginal tech. ban vaginal cars. Like Sam Hyde talked about. With the front is kind of like open. Like two labia. You know, you know. Yeah. Or insects, yeah. That is true. very dehumanizing. Even though there's just something so cool about certain shapes, and I don't know why. It's not like they have more human qualities or this or that. They just look badass. Is the gas pedal like it's kind of phallic, I guess. The phallic gas pedal. And the car itself, you know, the idea of it is phallic.
Surfboards here. Surfboards are at the beach, which I might be at the beach. But the first and second, I have another. On the first and second, I'm busy.
Ah, yeah, beaches, 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 beaches. I love you. Beaches, 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 beaches.
Who is that guy? Hello.
I don't know, Perry.
You don't know, and you play it.
Yes, I played it. Doesn't mean I sent it in.
But when it's sent in, don't you know who sends things in?
It said, what was the name that was on the thing? That's who sent
In the
it in.
future, the gas pedal is just gonna be like a tiny button where the gas pedal used to be, and it'll be very, it'll be very hard and annoying to work it.
The person that sent in.
You'll have to take your shoe off, use your raw toe.
That I can't tell you.
They'll be like very small.
Harmless Panda.
The new smart car.
It's basically free money. Like there's some offers.
New
that require
design.
A little bit of effort. This one requires no.
Filled with more clits than
$10.
ever.
All you have to do is call Sheila back, and so she can talk to Tom and Perry. Now, she could say no, but you don't put her on speakerphone. But just call her back and say, "Would you say hi to me and Tom on the air real quick, just for like 2 seconds? Nothing bad." Okay, so I'm gonna go offer accepted on that because he is calling. Don't put her on speaker. Just say, can Tom say hello to you for a moment on the air? That's all.
Perry, 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 Perry.
My boss wants to know if I can say hello to you on the air. Got it. Okay, over now.
Oh, come on, Sheila.
She doesn't want to be a part of it. That's all.
You have the worst friends.
She's not a friend. She's a business. She's business. It's called getting my hair done. Wants no part of that. I understand.
You know, if Perry ever threw like a private party for himself, like he would invite me. He'd invite like Dirk and Sheila, the two people that don't want to contribute anything to the thing that actually
And
gets them
Sheila probably wouldn't come, and Dirk probably wouldn't come.
Yeah, 'cause they're
Because
not
Dirk's
real
all the
friends.
way in San Diego.
Oh my
Dummy.
God. Did you tell her that? Did you tell her that you get paid for it?
Come.
Here's the way. I'll get off this topic. I'll get off this topic. But okay, so we have this thing coming up where a while ago you were paid to dye your hair hot pink, and you didn't do it at the time because you were going to Pottstown, and you said we do it after Pottstown. And now we're not going to do it now because we're going to take a couple of weeks off at the end of June. So we want to maximize the thing. So we're gonna do it when we get back. Okay. Now you were paid a good amount of money for that, and you offered to pay Sheila. I think you offered her $300. I think that was the highest offer. Did you push it at all?
I tried and she said no. So when we come back from our vacation, I'll talk to her about it again.
Well, I mean, I don't want you to harass the woman.
I don't like to harass her or make it seem like I'm harassing her. When we get back from vacation, I'll bring it up again.
All right. I mean, $300 just to like have fun on the stream. I mean, I respect somebody's privacy. Look, not everybody wants to be in front of the camera. I get that. But I just wish she'd have a little more fun with it. But okay, we'll find a suitable replacement. Somebody who's also skilled in the art of hairdressing for the hot pink.
That means I'd have to go to a hair salon.
No, it's not going to happen. It's going to be done. It's going to be done on the stream.
At a hair salon.
No, here.
Out of my house.
Yes, at your house. Exactly.
Then it's never going to happen.
Yes, it is going to happen. Anyway, Jay-Z Love You is offering $30, and this is, again, super easy, free money. For 30 seconds, bang 2 pots together, like making music, like a kid does, banging pots together.
I'm not damaging my pots.
No, you don't have to.
I'm not fucking acting like a child and damaging my pots.
Hey, Perry.
Fuck you.
All right, hey, Perry, without the potty mouth, you don't have to smash them together. Just tap them together so it makes music.
Gonna wrap it up here soon.
But you
Still a small little Monday
have to
stream.
tap them together just so we can hear them clang
Nothing too
together
crazy.
And sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow for 30
No
seconds.
alcohol.
You gotta think Somewhere Over the Rainbow, right? 30 seconds. Hold on, let me get the trusty PCL timer before you.
I actually still had a mixture of that Red Bull with the Svedka, blueberry Svedka. It was so horrible. That shit does not mix well.
Or how to
keep going. You got 15 seconds left. Make them up.
do it with a beat. Somewhere over the rainbow. I feel like I'm a joke. So somewhere, nowhere.
Rain's done. If we get a rainbow, we might see Skittle people.
Little people? Like dwarves?
No, I'm talking about Skittle people, whose faces smile and glow when they sing and laugh inside their rainbow.
Did he mention Kaiser? Who's Kaiser?
Oh my god. That's Shane Gillis.
Oh, hey, look. A Skittle person's outside.
No, that's an adult baby.
Goo goo gaga. Goo 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 gaga.
Ugh, creepy. They should put that on TV though. That would be great. It would actually be kind of a subversive and avant-garde for them to do that intentionally. It's status quo that I don't think companies will be able to go after if they Just imagine that ends up selling a lot. Just all the commercials trying to be as weird and crazy as possible, like the 90s and 2000s. All over again. Helmet's Biscuit Live. Alright, that's enough of that. Thank you, Midas, Kimosabi, Nugget Brain, Perry, and anybody else who came in. Kimosabi, MF Doomer, Ouija, Noah's in here. Make sure to hit that bell so you can get a notification. Thank you, Midas. You have a good night too, brother. I'll try to get a call in at some point this week. I'll hit up Lego preemptively to see if he wants to come in and do one on my stream. Just because the Sneed cast is kind of like morphing into what it was planned out to be, just like a free for all. Anybody come on, tap deal. But I don't feel I've actually had time to talk with Lego one-to-one like that. I think it would be cool. Of course, like you in there as well. Something a little extended from the usual call into something, who knows. Yeah, peace out. Have a good night. I'm out of here.